My fiancé moved in with her ex for his treatment and lied about it, so I called off our wedding. I'm 26, engaged to Maxine, who's 28. We've been together 2 years and engaged for 9 months, with a January wedding set. Our relationship felt simple and honest. I never had a reason to doubt her. Before me, Maxine married young. She and Carl were high school sweethearts who married at 22 and divorced 2 years later. She said real life hit and they weren't ready. They ended okay and drifted. She stayed in our city. He chased modeling and moved a lot. 3 months ago, Carl messaged her out of the blue. He was in town and asked to meet for coffee. She went. He told her he had breast cancer. He said it was stage 4. He said the odds were bad, but he would fight. He wanted Maxine beside him for surgery and chemo. He has no close family here. His parents died. No siblings. His relatives live overseas. He told her she was the closest family he had. He asked her to sit with him through it. I felt for him. The next day, Maxine brought him over. He was polite and trying to be upbeat. I shook his hand and said I was sorry. He said he was staying positive. I told Maxine I supported her helping him. His first surgery came at the end of that month. Maxine booked a flight west and checked into a cheap hotel near his apartment. She's a writer, so she worked from her laptop. For 2 weeks, we talked on the phone or video almost every day. She sounded tired but steady. Early June, the hospital said the surgery was only partly successful. The next step was chemo. Maxine flew home for a few days. She said his treatment would run from July through late January. She said he wanted her there for all of it. She said she felt like she should go. We couldn't pay for months of hotel rooms, so she moved into his apartment and slept on his sofa. She sent me a photo of a blanket on the cushions and a lamp on the floor. I told her I was proud of her, but our calls dropped to a couple times a week. When she did call, she spoke quietly from his kitchen. I heard the fridge and the pump beeping in the background. Yesterday, she said she didn't feel right leaving him before the end. She asked to push our wedding to February at least. She said she needed me to understand. I looked at our save the date on the fridge and tried to picture taking it down. Her dress was in our closet in a garment bag. My suit was still at the tailor. I felt split in half. I felt bad for him and also angry. I hated feeling angry at someone who was sick, but the feeling sat there. I resented that he needed her every hour. I resented that she agreed. I wondered why no friends or coworkers could cover a day so she could come home. I wondered where I fit. This morning I called her. I said I wanted a plan that helped him without pushing our life aside for months. I said we could move the honeymoon and use that money for flights. I offered a schedule, like 2 weeks there, 1 week here, then swap. I said if it helped, he could come here for treatment. We have a spare bedroom. I would drive him to every appointment. She listened and said almost nothing. I kept talking. I paced the living room and stacked our RSVP cards. Then I ran out of words. I asked her to please say something. She took a breath and told me the truth. He was never stage 4. He was stage 2. She said the rest was real. He asked her to be there. The first surgery did not get it all. He started chemo, but his chances are far better than she told me. She admitted she lied because she thought I wouldn't understand if it wasn't life or death. She also told him our wedding was postponed to August, so he thought her being gone until February was fine. She said after surgery he told her she could go home. He didn't want to pressure her to live there through chemo. She refused to leave. She told him I supported it. She told me she thought I did too. She swore she wasn't still in love with him. She said this was about doing the right thing. I stared at the ring on the table and couldn't find words. Before he visited in May, she told me not to say stage 4 in front of him because he was sensitive about it. I believed her without a second thought. Now I knew it was a cover for a lie. I told her I couldn't accept it. I said honesty was the one thing I thought we never had to question. I said she put her past ahead of our future and bent the facts to make it easier. She asked me not to make any big choices while I was upset. I said the choice was clear. I hung up. The apartment was quiet. I opened my laptop and pulled up our vendor emails. I wrote to the venue and told them we needed to cancel. I emailed the photographer. I took the save the date off the fridge and set it face down. I started a list of apartments to go see. I don't know what she will do next. I know what I'm doing. I'm ending the engagement. I'll spend the next few months apartment hunting and canceling wedding plans. Now my family are telling me I'm cruel for canceling the wedding. Am I wrong? My stepmom ran a stop sign. My twin died, and now she wants my sister's room for her baby. I'm 17, and I used to have an identical twin sister. We did everything together. She was my best friend, and the person who knew me without me saying a word. Last September, our dad was out of town, so my stepmom had to pick us up after a volleyball game. She showed up an hour late because she fell asleep and forgot. In the car, she kept going on about how we ruined her nap. At a 4-way stop, she barely slowed down. She blew the sign, and a truck hit us. Most of that night is broken pieces in my head, like sounds and lights and the smell of dust. I woke up in a hospital with tubes and bandages. My twin did not wake up. I stayed there for weeks and came home without her. I still can't say her name out loud without feeling my throat close. My stepmom refuses to say she messed up. There were witnesses who saw her run the stop, but she says it was bad luck. She acts like my sister never existed. One day at Walmart, an old man asked my dad how many kids he had. My dad said 4. My stepmom cut in and said 3. I didn't talk the rest of the day. My dad cheated on my mom with her years ago. They divorced, and my mom moved back to Europe. My sister and I stayed with our dad because that was the plan for school. After the crash, I stopped sitting at the table. It felt wrong looking at that empty chair. I eat in my room now, or I don't eat at all. Last night, my stepmom made a birthday dinner for herself. My dad asked me to come down and be there. I said I didn't want to. He kept asking until I gave in. I sat at the end of the table with water and tried to keep my eyes on my plate. My little brothers were bouncing in their seats. The food smelled like butter and garlic. Everyone was talking over each other, and I felt the noise sitting on my shoulders. My stepmom tapped her glass with a spoon and told us she had news. She said she was pregnant. My brothers started smiling and asking if it was a boy or girl. She said it was a girl. They cheered and started talking about tiny shoes and baby names. Then my stepmom said they could help paint the nursery. I asked which room would be the nursery. She said my twin's room, and she said it like it was a normal thing. She told us she had already been in there that morning, boxing things and moving them to the attic. My chair scraped the floor. I asked why she didn't tell me before going into my sister's room. I said that aside from me, no one went in there. Sometimes I sit on the floor and lean on the bed frame just to feel close. Some nights I fall asleep there because the silence in my room is too loud. She got defensive. She said she was the mother of the house and the room was empty. She said she didn't need my negativity around her pregnancy. I said I understood she needed space for the the baby, but a heads up mattered. I said my sister's things are not trash. She told me I needed to accept death and move on. She said I had my dad, my brothers, and her, and now I'd get a new sister and could build an even stronger bond. Something in me clicked. I stood up because sitting felt like drowning. My dad told me to sit back down and stop being dramatic. He said if I walked away, I'd be grounded. I started to leave anyway because I could feel my hands shaking. My stepmom said she didn't get what my problem was. She said I couldn't even be happy about her baby, but I was mad about her touching an unoccupied room. I turned around, and everything I've been holding since September came out. I told her she chose to be with a married man and helped blow up my family. I told her she forgot us after the game, ranted about her nap, ran the stop, and a truck hit us. I told her I went home, and my other half did not. I told her my sister's room is not a storage closet. I told her telling me to move on felt like stepping on my chest. She said I was living in the past and that everything happens for a reason. She said God works in mysterious ways. I asked if she really thought nothing could have changed that night. She said it was unlucky fate. I said my sister would be alive if she had stopped the car. She said I make her feel like I wish she had died. I didn't answer. She asked again, louder. I told her to let go when she grabbed my arm. She kept repeating the question like she wanted me to say it. I felt my face burn, and I said the truth that was stuck in my head. I said my life would have been easier that way. She started crying. My dad called me heartless. I said I shouldn't have said that. He told me to leave her alone and get out of the kitchen. I stepped back, pushed in my chair, and walked down the hall without looking back. My hands were still shaking, and I could hear the spoon rattling in the glass behind me. I stopped at my sister's door and stood there with my forehead on the wood, breathing slow. Now my dad is calling me heartless for guarding my twins' room. Was I wrong? My girlfriend kept clowning my fanfiction, then demanded I stop writing intimate scenes. I'm a working writer. My first book is out. I sell poems to the local paper. I also keep a secret blog where I post fanfiction under a different name. It's not about being a wild fanboy. I just like asking what if. I read or play something, picture a scene, and write it. It made me love writing. It stayed secret until my girlfriend found it after I forgot to clear my laptop history. I usually clear it out of old habit from the family computer days. This time I didn't. A link auto-filled and she clicked. She started joking. At first I laughed too. Then the jokes got sharp. She called me a Tumblr boy. She said I wanted to date fictional characters. She read a few posts and nitpicked lines. She did fake voices and laughed at my tags. I told her it bothered me. She brushed me off. She said I was too serious and needed to relax. I can take a light tease. This wasn't that. If I opened my laptop, she'd ask if I was writing weird fan stuff. If I typed fast, she'd hum a theme song. If my phone buzzed, she'd say it was my pretend girlfriend. Yesterday she came over while I was drafting a column. She leaned on my chair and said, "Writing your strange fan stuff again, fanboy?" She laughed. I didn't. I told her to leave. She blinked like I was joking. I wasn't. I asked her to go, and I shut the door. Here's why it hurt. I learned English at 9 because there were no stories in my language for a fandom I loved. I wrote fanfic and got better line by line. That skill got me work when I had no experience. It paid rent. It gave me a path. So I don't feel shame about fanfiction. I feel proud. What cut me was that my own girlfriend tried to make me small for it. I don't mock her hobbies. I buy tickets for her shows. I listen to her music. I don't turn it into a weapon. She wanted to come back and talk, but didn't think she'd done anything wrong. She said I should lighten up. I said I needed space. We stopped talking for the night. Then I asked to meet so we could either fix it or end it clean. We met the next day. We were both tense. We walked to my place. I set 2 mugs of tea on the table. We sat across from each other. Her foot tapped under the chair. My hands shook a little. I kept my voice steady. I said I wasn't asking for praise, just respect, and to stop the jokes when I say stop. I asked a straight question. Why did my blog bother her so much? She said it didn't. She said she was just having fun. I said it hurt me. She snorted like I was being dramatic. I told her if she couldn't take this seriously, she should go. She rolled her eyes, then finally told me the real reason. She doesn't feel okay with me writing intimate scenes. She said she didn't mind the one in my book because she didn't see the response. On the blog, she saw reblogs, likes, and comments. She saw people excited. That, she said, felt bad because I'm her boyfriend. I asked what bad meant. She said writing that kind of detail puts me out there. She said readers would see me as easy. She said I might get stalkers because I enjoy that stuff too much. I stayed calm. I asked if my writing gives her the wrong idea about me the way real life does not. I asked if describing a scene means I'm sending signals to strangers. She went quiet. Then she said she didn't mean it that way. She said my scenes were vivid and people might get the wrong idea. I asked why she praised the chapter in my book. She said she didn't think about consequences. She said the blog made it real because she could see the crowd and the feedback in one place. She kept circling back to how many people were enjoying it. I explained I like writing those scenes. It's part of the worlds I build, and sometimes it's the point. It also helps pay bills. Editors ask for it. Readers expect it. I said I set boundaries. My blog has DMs off. Comments are filtered. I don't flirt with readers. She said it would be fine if I just never wrote about that again. She said we could move on if I dropped intimacy from my work. She said then she wouldn't feel insecure. She waited like I'd agree. I didn't. I said I won't cut pieces of my job to manage her fear. I said I need a partner who trusts me and respects what made me who I am. I said the line about me being easy crossed a boundary I can't unhear. She tried to fix it. She reached for my hand. She said she was sorry. She said she was scared. She said the comments made her jealous. She said she imagined people thinking about me and it turned into jokes. She cried. I felt tired. I told her I was done. I said we were over. I said I would change my blog link and keep my work separate from anyone who can't respect it. I opened the door. She stared at me. Then she left. I changed the blog URL that night. I locked down a few settings. My phone started to ring. Calls, then texts. She said she was sorry. I read them and put the phone face down. I sat at my desk and opened a blank page. Now her friends are saying I'm overreacting for ending it. Am I wrong?